In my Starfield video, I mentioned that I'm a gameplay first kind of player. Even if the gameplay itself can be very fun in games, it can be ruined by having long breaks between gameplay, drawn out dialogue, or just a bad, lackluster story. And Cyberpunk was all three combined. To back off a bit, the new Phantom Liberty DLC released on September 26th, on top of the big 2.0 update, has been praised by many content creators all over Twitch and YouTube. It's finally the amazing game they wanted back when it released in 2020. But is it?
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
Great, I'm glad. Now can we go?
I played Cyberpunk live on my Twitch stream back in December 2022, a whole 2 years after its release, and, well, do this on purpose, and... Okay, that is a cheap shot at the game. No game is bug-free, let's be honest. That was months ago, and with the 2.0 release out the door, I thought why not play through the entire game again to have an updated opinion on it and to talk about the game, which apparently has reached its full potential.
2 hours later.
Yeah, the game still sucks ass. Okay, 2 hours wasn't the entire game, but there is a reason why I physically couldn't play more. Before I jumped into the game, I took my time and activated the new DLSS 3.69 whatever the heck that makes the lighting and reflections so sexy it will make you bust a nut or something. Realizing this cut my FPS to about half, I said no thank you and jumped into a new game as a Streetkid, which I haven't played before. Right away, the beginning was fine. Starting at the bar, going upstairs, more talking, going down, getting in a car, chatting with the old guy, etc, etc. Quite slow in my opinion for a Streetkid opening of the game. Something a bit more exciting would have been interesting, but either way, out of the car the story can progress. Now, to skip ahead, you gotta steal a car, but Jackie stops you and the police is here. Of course. But then we are outside again and the police drives away? This felt weird and it seemed like something was missing. I think Jackie has some connections, but still, I think a few voice lines, maybe a quick scene in the police car would have helped a lot to smooth it over. And this was pretty much it. Now Jackie and you are off to conquer the city. All seems fine so far, right? The first big issue is right here. Only the beginning of the story is different. At some point, everything converges to one storyline, and everything previously doesn't hecking matter. This, on top of the 6 months later cutscene, were major warnings a few minutes into my first playthrough. Like, why would you skip the most important part of the story as a writer? It made no sense to me and still doesn't make sense. Well, that is a lie.
In 2077, what makes someone a criminal? Getting caught.
The answer is probably Keanu Reeves and some higher-ups messing up the story, and the writers had to scramble to figure it out. More on that in a bit though. Now, after the beginning of the game and the cutscene, you are now with Jackie and go through some quests together. Then we have a few more scenes with, oh no, the lady in the bathtub, then a slow-ass walking section to the balcony to ruin the pacing of the game even more, and then the whole thing of them picking her up. Skipping ahead, we had the most boring driving section, which I don't know if that is better or worse than the slow walking section next to an NPC in Assassin's Creed games. Finally being able to skip the ride, I do so, get dropped off, get into the elevator and ignore that the game is hiding a loading screen right now. So for people who hate the loading times in Starfield, count the time you spend in elevators in Cyberpunk in your next playthrough. In Starfield the loading times were at least short, but that might also be for me with a modern PC. After going to bed and kind of starting the first real day in Night City, I use the elevator again, meeting Jackie and drive around. I quickly remembered why I hated driving in Cyberpunk. It's so bad. Clearly more on the realistic side, which I don't prefer. I mean, this isn't Need for Speed Heat, I have to accept that. Which, by the way, in my opinion, was a pretty decent and fun game. After the painful driving section and skipping through everything the doc said, I said to myself that I should focus on something more gameplay related to get some joy, because I knew nothing mattered after the Jackie intro. Jackie dies, Dexter I think is gone, and the big baddie Arasaka won't follow me after I stole their very valuable chip that literally houses the most dangerous terrorist that attacked their company. Do you see the issue here? Okay, but to be fair, I have not replayed the story, so I won't go more in detail here. Going back to my playthrough, I screwed around, did some side quests, but instantly noticed because of the bad driving, exploration sucks, and the city itself is so weirdly convoluted, which makes trying to go from A to B even worse. Now, if this game would be a lot more unrealistic, which later on you do get double jump to be honest, it wouldn't really matter that the city is convoluted. For example, I just imagine the city with the power of the protagonist of Prototype. Holy heck, give me that type of game. At this point, I got so sick of playing the game because I was way too annoyed waiting again for some NPC to answer the call to let us into his building, that I just said, screw it. Let me do something that is fun. And soon after, I found a new bug, or a bug that was already in the game and no one fixed. When I drove into the unfinished sections of the game, you get teleported back. That makes sense, but what didn't make sense is when I then drove away back into the city, the game thought I shouldn't be there and then teleported me back again and again and again. So yeah, I had to reload a save file to fix that issue. Beside all that, in my last minutes of my 2-hour gaming session, I tried the new police system. It is a video game police system. After going up to rank 4, nearly dying, running away, hiding, losing my ranks, and then literally walking right in front of them, they do nothing. Cyberpunk is playing in 2077 with mass surveillance is my guess, cyborg eyes that record probably everything the police does, being able to hack into people's minds, I think, and you want to tell me how the police doesn't give a fuck now after I killed 10 police dudes? Really? That was the moment I sat in my chair, looked at the game, and said, fuck it. Having roughly gone over my 2 hours, I noticed the same faults back when I played it in December 2022. The major flaws are world building and the writing. Both can be fixed, just not in this game. They have to make a new Cyberpunk game, probably reset what happened in Night City, or just ignore it. It's a shame that a game with so many years of development, the writers thought this line for Jackie is a good idea.
Scratched your baby up pretty bad. Sorry, V.
This is about 45 minutes into my play session. The sheer problem with this line is astounding because I notice it and I'm very far from a good writer. If you don't understand the issue with this line, let me enlighten you. We just got attacked by some guys that shot at us and the car. With baby, Jackie means V's car, our car. The car we couldn't choose because the game had the cutscene that skipped 6 months of development of our character, in which the game showed us how V chooses that car. But we couldn't choose it. We, the player of this video game. Do you see the monumental issue here? Either the writers had a different beginning of the game in mind, making this line matter a lot more, or they are actually bad. I pray to God it's the first. I really hope that some people at the tippity top of CD Projekt Red who got Keanu Reeves in fucked up everything. His addition to the game is awful. Keanu is a great guy, but his introduction to the game and the character he portrays is awful for Cyberpunk, and literally made me want to quit the game multiple times during my live stream back in December. They even gave him a sex scene. They gave the ghost in your head a sex scene with a woman you have no connection to. How is this okay? How is no one pointing out the obvious faults of Cyberpunk's story? To be honest, the voice acting in this game is great. I love it. Hearing Jackie and V chat is great, but if the world building, the world that they are in and what they are saying doesn't make sense, I can't under any circumstances believe the world that they are trying to tell. Again, I think it's not the writer's fault, or at least not 100%. In the end, it doesn't matter. Cyberpunk has been out since 2020, and this is the story of the game, and they will not fix it, because that would mean they have to remake everything. From the literal start to the multiple endings to probably thousands of hours of voice re-recordings and much, much more. That is why Cyberpunk can't be fixed or redeemed by pumping out a 2.0 update and then a DLC that costs you another $30 for about 12 to 15 hours of fun. Which for me isn't fun if everything is in a car waiting for elevators to move or NPCs that take ages to go from A to B. Boy oh boy, this game had me riled up after 2 hours. Keep in mind, this was just the start of the game, which ruined the next 15 or so I had when I first played through it. There are many more issues that another YouTuber called Manly goes over in his video. His video is also a billion times better edited, so go watch that video too. Thank you so much for watching my rant about Cyberpunk. Until next time.